So welkom terug hier op GROOTplaas. My gas vandag Professor Yusuf en hy's 'n Humboldt ambassadeur, wetenskaplike hier in Suid-Afrika. Professor, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So your research focuses on edible insects and how to do that sustainably, making sure that there are rearing techniques for these insects that will provide sustainability for the future. So where did you get interested in this bug-eating situation?
Yeah, so eating insect, as we now call it fashionably edible insect, it's an old age tradition that has been practiced for millennia. In fact, there are more than 2,000 different types of insects that are eaten worldwide. So previously, it was been seen as a primitive way of eating or looking for nutritional food. But 15 years ago, after the Food and Agriculture Organization's document that asks for sustainable ways of finding more food, edible insect now become formally, and they've been researched. So last year, together with colleagues, we compiled a list of commonly used insects worldwide, and we came up with more than 2,000 insects which are eaten all over. So you'd be surprised, even in the North America, there are more than 400 different types of insects that have been used.
That are edible.
Yeah, on the continent here, there are more than 500 types of insects that are being used as food or feed.
So chat to me about the most common South African insects. If chicken gets too expensive, the beef is no longer, and we need to look at the ground to find our food. What are the insects locally that we can start eating?
The most common edible insect in South Africa and Southern Africa is the mopami worm, which has been eaten.
And that you can get at a spaza shop or informal settlements quite easily.
Yeah. It's a mopami worm, then followed by termites, and also an edible bug, which is known as haruru when you go down up north towards Zimbabwe. So the mopami worm market, it's a broad market which covers South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and around the country. And this is an insect that is associated with the mopami plants, which is the mopami woodland. So that's the most common eating insect here in South Africa. And then when the rain comes, some communities do eat the termites, those ones that fly out with the wings. Yeah, they're very, very, very nice. You just collect them, remove the wings, and you don't even need an oil to fry them. You just fry them with their own...
Just like that?
With their own oil, and that's it.
Well, It sounds strange. I'm trying to think of, ways to prepare these insects to make it a little bit more stomachable. But what is the nutritional value in insects? Because that's probably the biggest thing. We know any kind of food, we need protein intake, we need a certain amount of carbs. In insects, tell us about the nutritional value.
Yeah, in insect, depending on the insect, whether it's a cricket or a locust, the protein content is between 25 to 40 something %, while the lipids, that is the fat or oil, it's between 30 to 70%. And one good thing with insect is that almost all of it is usable. So that is what it's technically known as the feed conversion ratio. That means that almost everything is edible. So when you compare with beef or with pork or with poultry, the bones are thrown away to be used for something else. The feathers or the skin are used for something else. But in terms of insect, everything it's usable. And also one other thing with insect is their footprint. So you don't need a lot of resources. So for you to raise about 100 grams of protein for a cricket, you need not more than 1 milliliter of water. Compared that to 100 grams of beef, where you need thousands of liters, and also vast amount of land. Also, looking at the carbon footprint, that is the impact on the environment. So aside from the resources, normal livestock farming, it's been shown as one of the richest contributors of greenhouse emission gases. In terms of insect, it's very negligible, and also the byproduct, which is the insect excrement, what we call frass, can also be used as organic fertilizer, like you will use your cow dung as well. So it's a whole value chain there that can be utilized.
So you mentioned crickets. We know that it's being used in animal feed. Mealworms are also a very how do I say, a very popular choice for animal feed. But that's now moved. It's shifted slightly, where it's being introduced into edible forms for human consumption as well.
Yes, you're very right. So there are certain species of cricket that are being used for food, and then the mealworm. I think the major push was in the year 2020 or 2021 when the European Union approved its use as a human food. So there comes also our own research where we're now looking at the different ways of raising these insects in a very sustainable form, so that it will have more. It's more sustainable and it's more cost effective.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because that's what your research centers around: cost-effective ways of raising these insects and making it a little bit more sustainable. What do you need to put into place? Are there certain farms, breeding farms for these insects specifically, or how would one go about making sure that this stays sustainable?
Yeah, as it is the common practice, it's mostly on big farms or on substrates, what we call substrates, what you rear the insect on, which are things that are expensive. So what we sought to do is looking at other alternatives that are more cheaper, and where you can actually have more than one cycle of rearing insect on the same substrate. So I can give you an example. When we take the mealworm, for instance, the mealworm is the insect itself is a stored product pest. That is a pest that attacks some grains. So it is being reared on wheat bran. But you see, wheat bran is a product that has been used in many different industries, which is expensive and also difficult to find. So we're looking for alternative grain sources that we can still rear the mealworms on, get the same value and even more in terms of nutrition and also usage. So if we say we take 1 kilogram, if you're going to get about 500 grams of insect on it, you can still use the same to get twice that. That is what we're aiming at in the research that we do.
So I think you've hinted at this a little bit earlier, but these insects that are being raised, some people would refer to them as a superfood these days because of the protein intake, the oils and that kind of thing. So obviously there is a very specific a group of people who would say, you know what, this sounds delicious. But for our viewers at home, it's not breakfast time anymore at this stage. And we're talking about eating insects. So it's not stomachable for everyone. How long do you think this will still take before people see this as a viable option to replace dairy, meat, and other byproducts?
Yeah, so before I answer that question, I just have to make it a little clearer. So it's not everyone who should eat insect, because it's not everyone who can stomach eating insect the way they have been eating, in terms of seeing them with the legs and everything. But what is being done now together with the colleagues who are food scientists is to find other ways of getting that protein from the insect into food.
So physically extracting the protein from that, similar to what we would use for performance stimulants, like whey proteins and that kind of thing. Yeah,
or blending the insects in form of a powder, which contains all the nutrients.
That's the best idea.
Yeah, and then fortifying it into. So you would be able to find a product which on the bottle or on the container said that fortified with insect protein. So with that, you don't see the insect, but it's a fortified or a protein or a vitamin or a lipid that is sourced from insects. So that's the idea going forward to make it acceptable.
So this sounds like it's a industry that is waiting to grow. Job opportunities and that kind of thing. What do you predict for the future?
Yeah, it's an industry that is bound to grow, and I think at the moment South Africa is left behind because other parts of the continent, like in East Africa.
But our beef is so great. We don't have to chow the the insects yet.
Yeah, true. But the sustainability in terms of now, you see the tariffs come in and other things, we have to start looking inward. So in other part of the continent, especially in East Africa, it's an established industry already with small scale companies that start springing up and also having products in the market. So it's an opportunity for us to look. So there have been estimates about how the market would grow by 2030 worldwide. It's going to be a global market. And 2 or 3 years ago, I was on a flight in Europe, and I found on the menu you can get a cricket bar, which you can buy, and it was very very appetizing to see where the industry is going. So it's something that should be tapped into.
Because you would think this is a very localized kind of food source, maybe to the African continent, but you're seeing it in Europe, and there's definitely a need for this kind of nutrition elsewhere in the world.
Yes, it's not a localized thing. Like I said earlier on, what we found when we did the survey, it's a global thing. In Asia, it's been a thing for a long time. Likewise here, it's just that it's not been developed it's developed at different levels on the different continents.
So, Professor, I have to ask you, seeing that you are the guy doing the research, you've tasted some of these insects, you actually enjoy some of these insects. What's your top 2 recipes when it comes to preparing these insects? Do you like it with rice? Do you have it with pap?
For me, I like eating them directly as a snack, because as an entomologist, I don't have
fried snack?
Yeah, or cooked or boiled. So as an entomologist, I'm not afraid of a
little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper.
Yeah, or even direct, just crunchy, eating it as a snack.
Do you have some spare insects in your pocket right now?
Not in my pocket. Good. I didn't know that.
I was going to have a taste with you.
Yeah, I would have brought some.
We'll leave that for another day.
For another day.
We'll do a full taste test.
Yes.
So just to conclude, Professor, with the sustainability research that you guys have been doing, obviously we now know there's a sector for it. In terms of farming and people thinking, you know what, can I add this to my current farming situation? Is there openings for this? Is there a way that people should be implementing this? And could this be helpful on the farms due to the insects that they introduce?
Yes, at the moment there is an insect which has been farmed here, which is known as the black soldier fly. It is an insect that does combat waste, vegetable waste mostly. So the larva or the larva is being used as a chicken feed, and the fruit has been used as a fertilizer. So yes, it is very practicable to implement it in the current farming system.
Well, Professor Yusuf, thank you for this insightful conversation into the producing and the sustainable production of insects as a food and where it's going. En ons vra om verskoning as jy nou nog nie jou ontbyt geëet het nie. Ons het gepraat oor mopani, wurms en allerlei goedjies. Dit mag dalk nog net op 'n spyskaart by jou naaste gunsteling restaurant opduik in die nabye toekoms. So